Would you like to beat the holiday weight gain and the belly bloat? Well, today I'm going to be talking about the holidays and things that we can do. So maybe you're overindulging, mindlessly eating, getting out of your workout routine, and just tend to struggle more over the holidays. Well, today I'm going to break down some different reasons what causes weight gain and belly bloat and what we can do about it.
Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mom of four and military wife. I have my doctorate in physical therapy and I'm an online personal trainer, health coach, and yoga teacher. Do you wish that you had more energy and could get into shape? Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight? Maybe you've tried a diet before, but it just wasn't sustainable, and now you don't know how to get started. We're going to look at health holistically here, and most importantly, keep things simple and quick. If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably without long workouts or following strict diets, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, I bring together my expertise with real life strategies. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving.
All right, so let's dive into the topic today. I know that holidays can be really stressful, especially when it comes to our health. So what we're eating, we might move less, and then just the added stress of everything. So even recently for Thanksgiving, things were way out of my routine. So my family came to visit the week before Thanksgiving. And then my own little family, we also took a trip during Thanksgiving. So it was about 2 weeks of being off track. And for me, the nutrition piece is pretty easy. I can eat the same things even when we travel and still have healthy things. I don't tend to overeat or have sugar cravings anymore. But I know that's not the case for everybody. My biggest thing where I really got off track is exercising differently. So I did do more hikes and different things like that. I did less of my strength training and my yoga. So definitely after these 2 weeks, I was ready to just get back to my routine and get more focused, especially around my exercise. And I can also say it just feels so much better to be back into my routine. So I think one of the big things that makes a difference about getting through the holidays in a healthy way, in a way that you feel good about yourself, is one, having some healthy habits already in place. When I was talking to one of my clients, she said that she was so glad she wasn't starting just now, but she's been working with me for a few months because she already has healthy habits in place. She's already really committed to it. So it's not a big of a leap when there's so many temptations around. And then the second piece is just being very intentional during the holidays. It's so easy to not have any intention and then just let week and week and week go by, and then you're gaining weight, you're eating more, and you're not feeling great. But when you really start to make more intention and you're very clear on what you want, that's when you're going to start to see the difference. And the other piece is having room for grace and not feeling bad if you ate a little bit more, because what happens is that when we feel shame or we feel bad about what we ate, we stay in that. When we don't have self-forgiveness, we can't forgive ourselves and then move on and get back to what we wanted. So if we steer a little off course from what we wanted to do, we just need to steer right back on and make that time as short as possible. And one last thing is really being able to prioritize. There is so much on our plates, but one thing I work with on my clients, and obviously do myself too, is where are my priorities? And going back to the basics and keeping things small. What are 1 or 2 things I really want to focus on this holiday season that I'm really committed to? So that we don't have all of these goals and so much that we want to do, but we're being very specific. So if you guys don't know, I do a lot of my personal training, and some of my health coaching clients use it too, is I use an app. So this is where I'm customizing workouts for people to do on their own time. We're messaging each other. They have full yoga videos. We're setting up habits. So it's all controlled through this hub of the app. So within this app for the holidays, I have my Healthy Holiday Challenge set up, and we have a group chat for all of my clients who really wanted to focus more specifically on their health during the holidays. And it's been really fun to see, because some of the successes my clients have been having lately is that they're feeling like their eating is more under control. And then they're having that confidence as they're going forward to these different holiday parties. So they're not eating near as much. They're not constantly snacking on that food that is left out, but they are occasionally indulging and having something that they have set intention to that they want to enjoy and not feel bad. I've also had clients that have been more specific with leftovers. So maybe they're not going to keep them, they're going to give more away because leftovers have been a struggle for them. And I've also had clients that have been very specific about not wanting to go get seconds at dinner and when food is out for the holidays. So as you can see, they've become very specific on their intention in also a very narrow way. And that's helped them to get through this season and get through Thanksgiving a lot better. And one thing I can say about my clients is that they're feeling that what they're doing this year, being in this challenge and working with me, is that it's dramatically different than what has happened in the years past. Typically, it would start around Halloween and they would start overeating, and it just continues throughout the whole season. But this year, they're doing it different. They're focused on how can I still enjoy those things I really like, but focus a lot more on my health because I feel so much better. And I think one thing people start to notice is that when you start eating better to fuel your body and you're not overstuffing yourself, you start to notice that when you're feeling really full, it just doesn't feel good. And then you can use that feedback as you're going forward is, I don't really like this. And then so what else we've done in the group chat is also allowing people to just share what they're struggling with because life isn't going to be perfect. And being able to take that feedback of what was my struggle for Thanksgiving and how can I take that forward into the next week or the next week when I have different parties. But I still need to celebrate what went well because when we just look at the negative, we're not noticing these things that we are doing well and the things that have changed. And one of my other clients told me this week that her wedding ring finally fits after years. And I just think that is so great because especially something like that has more to do with what's happening inside of our body. So the way our hormones are working, the way we're holding on to salt and sodium, and it's just a little thing, but it tells me that the inside of her body is functioning so much better. And to me, that is what matters when our body is healthy, when we're healthy on the inside. So I hope that this just inspired you a little bit to see that it is possible to get healthy through the holidays, because I think sometimes when we just think that we can't do it, it's crossed off in our mind. So I just want to open your mind, and I'm sharing these successes with you and some of those struggles because this is real life, that this can happen when we put our intention to something and we're serious about it. And if you guys are looking for any support, especially as this new year is approaching, I encourage you to set up a free call with me. Because if you feel stuck and you're in the same place and you've tried different diets and programs and you're right back to where you are, you need to do something different to get different results. And if you're really looking to take a sustainable approach to your health and to weight loss, that is what I focus on. Because we don't want to lose that weight short term. We want to be able to lose it, keep it off, and feel good about ourselves. And be able to connect different experiences, so different emotions, anxiety, emotional eating that we're doing, and put those pieces together. So that is what I do in my coaching. There's going to be a link down below. I would love to chat with you and just hear what your goals and your struggles are. So let's talk about weight gain and belly bloat specifically. So when I'm talking about belly bloat here, I'm more talking about the occasional belly bloat. If you're having that more consistently and it's really been a long-term chronic problem, you might have to dive in a little bit deeper. Some of these things will still help, but that might be something a little bit different, that you might have different bacteria that's off in your stomach and more things like that. So especially short term around the holidays, things that cause weight gain and belly bloat can be things like overeating. And sometimes we're aware of this and sometimes we're not quite aware that we are eating more. But especially when we're eating low nutritional deficient food, is that sometimes we tend to overeat that. So the food isn't as nutritionally dense and we end up consuming more calories. There's studies that show that people who are given a highly processed diet versus whole foods, they are eating a lot more. So overeating, and what went along with that is that we're eating different foods. So even if we're eating the exact same calories, but we're eating more sugar, more carbs, more processed food, our body's probably going to absorb more of those calories. So things like protein and vegetables that have fiber tend to take a little bit more for our bodies to break down, and we don't absorb as many of those calories. The other thing that can lead to that belly bloat and weight gain is really not having enough fiber. So if we are not eating whole, healthy foods that have a good amount of fiber in them, we're going to start to see changes in our gut. And this is something I see with my clients, is when we start looking at their nutrition and we start focusing on fiber and we figure out very specific ways and specific foods they like to get more fiber and how to incorporate into their day, they're seeing a difference in how their stomach feels and how their GI system works. For example, like they're not getting as constipated. And I've had people who have been at doctors and, they're just given fiber supplements and not told much else. And they are pretty unaware of dietary fiber and drinking enough water to help with their stomach. So it's something very basic that you can start with. The other thing is that we're not moving. So when our bodies aren't physically moving as much, our digestion sort of slows down. So when we have good blood flow and different things like that, that actually helps our digestion. The other thing is increasing sugar. So sugar and certain carbs are going to feed certain types of bacteria, and those bacteria are going to grow. So if we are switching to eating more sugar over the holidays, we are feeding certain type of bacteria that can also make our stomach feel uncomfortable or our stomach to bloat. The other thing that's important to not overlook is when we're having more stress, that can change how our GI system is working. And it will be a little bit different for everybody. But there's a huge mind-body connection. So how we're feeling, the thoughts that we are having are going to affect our digestive system. So having ways, especially through the holidays, to do stress relieving things. Like for me, going out for a walk or doing yoga. And if you guys don't know, I teach yoga on Insight Timer. It's a free app. So you guys can check that out. There will be something in the description. They also have other yoga teachers and meditations, but it's a great resource to have some time to slow down to relieve stress. The other thing I like to do is to journal and making sure that I'm having time to work through things that are going in my life and not letting those things build up. The other thing that could add to it is alcohol. So alcohol pretty much acts as sugar. So even if you are drinking White Claw or something that is, that's no sugar, it's very low carb. What happens in our body is that alcohol is actually converted into sugar. So even though you're not getting extra sugar, that's what alcohol is. Because you can look at the label, because I did this too. I'm like, well, this doesn't have carbs, it doesn't have fat, it doesn't have protein. What is it? But what matters is what our body turns it into, and that is sugar. So that is just something to keep in mind. And the other thing is eating too fast. So digestion starts in our mouth. When we chew, we then create enzymes that help to break down food. And then we also swallow it and we allow our stomach to digest. So when we are eating too fast, that can lead to some digestive discomfort. So those can all be reasons, and it's not a comprehensive list of why you're getting weight gain or belly bloat, but those are some things to think about. And I also just want to share one easy thing to control and stay consistent with over the holidays is your supplements. One of my supplements that I take every day is my daily omega-3 supplement. And this is because I actually tested my levels at home and they were so low. And really 97% of people worldwide are low in omega-3. And this affects us at a cellular level. So things like our brain, our mood, the way we think, dry eyes, dry skin, our bell cells, our gut, all go back to making sure that we're having enough omega-3s. And I love this supplement because one, you can buy a kit where you can test your levels so that you know. You test it, you supplement, and you retest again to make sure that your body is absorbing it. And the supplement I use has had added polyphenols so that we get better absorption and no fishy burps, fishy taste, which comes from oxidation. So check out the link down below on how to get started with that. The other supplement I'm loving is my Organifi. I like to have the Organifi green in the morning, and this gives me a natural dose of energy. It has adaptogen herbs in it. My favorite one is ashwagandha, and this helps our body to adapt to stress. So we're getting lots of micronutrients and helping with our stress. I also love the Organifi Gold. Right now they have pumpkin pie spice. I like to have it with some almond milk or coconut milk, and it's really a yummy drink. It also has lemon bulb in it, which is a great calming, relaxing herb, and also turmeric. So if you guys want to check it out, there's a link down below, and use the code HEALTHY20 to save 20% off today. All right, let's dive back to the topic. So really those causes I gave you, we can obviously do the opposite of it, and I'm just going to go into some of those a little bit deeper. So really to prevent weight gain, to have our stomachs feeling better and not bloating as much, is we want to make sure that we're getting some movement and exercise in, especially if that's been part of our normal routine. We all should, but if it's been part of your normal routine and you stop doing it, you're going to see that bigger change. And I also like, especially around the holidays, is how can we include some of our family and the people around of us to go out for walks or hikes together, maybe play football or tag, but really finding different ways to move and to have fun. And like I mentioned in the other part, is really avoiding processed food and avoiding all that increased sugar consumption. So getting back to thinking about, what do I need to meal plan? What do I need to meal prep so I can eat healthy things and make it be a little bit easier? And how can I eat less sugar? How can I pick out my favorite things I really want and be okay with not eating the other things? Sometimes you guys can do that on your own. Sometimes you really need coaching to help you work through why you're doing what you're doing and you can't stop. The other thing, like I mentioned before with the chewing, is that we need to eat slower and be more mindful, making sure that we're drinking water, because if we're dehydrated, we're going to end up eating more. But really sitting, slowing our food, slowing down, enjoying the moment. And sometimes I struggle with this too. My natural tendency is to eat really fast. But how can I slow down, chew my food, enjoy my company? It's going to help my digestion, and it's also going to signal my brain quicker when I am full. And like I said earlier, working on our stress. If you feel that your stress is building up more, what can you do to support that and support yourself? Again, sometimes this might be something you need coaching on. Like with my coaching with clients, they're like, oh, wow, we're talking about that, because health coaching is also about life coaching because it all intertangles. Or maybe you need to reach out and start with a counselor if you're really experiencing high stress, anxiety, or depression. And the other piece is, when we're eating food, we want to make sure that we're getting enough fiber through the healthy foods in our diet, because the fiber in our diet is going to feed the good bacteria in our stomach, and it's going to help our gut health. And another quick, easy thing I do that doesn't require much is I take a prebiotic, and I'll share that link down below. It's by Zenzino, but it has different prebiotic fibers. So these aren't probiotics. The prebiotics feed the good bacteria in your stomach. When you take a probiotic, those can be helpful too. They're putting new bacteria into your gut. The prebiotic is going to feed the good bacteria that you have. And this one I use, it has different strains, so it's feeding different bacteria in different parts of our GI system. That's really helpful. So that's a simple thing to do, especially if you are short on time. So check the link down below if you want to get started with that. All right, this about wraps it up today. This is a little bit longer of an episode. I do try to keep these short. I also encourage you to listen to episode number 61, where I go through some very specific tips that you can use through the holidays and at parties that will help to get you guys through this Christmas season and New Year's season. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys head to Facebook and join my Facebook group, Healthy Beyond 40. This community is really growing thanks to this podcast. I love having you guys in here. And it's really a place where you guys can also share your goals and your struggles in the group. You can hear about events or anything that I have going on, but a really supportive environment where you can surround yourself with like-minded people who are trying to get healthy and stay healthy without dieting.